Hello, this is the homework number 1 from Havoc University Season 2, Module 1. So the question was, at what point can I strike somebody trying to take my property? Yeah, this was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be when you first asked that question. From everything I can find, it looks like as long as you have satisfied all 4 elements of the defense of property test, part one being possession, were you in peaceable possession of the property? Did the accused believe on reasonable grounds that he was in peaceable possession of the property? Part 2 is threat to the property. Did the accused believe on reasonable grounds as the complainant entering, taking, damaging, or destroying the property? Part 3 is the purpose. Were the actions of the accused done in the purpose of defending or protecting his or her property? And then reasonable response. Was the accused conduct reasonable in the circumstances? So I don't think this was actually the big question, so I won't get into the 4 elements. Suffice to say, as long as the 4 elements are satisfied, with the exception of if somebody is coming to take that property because of a warrant by the police or some other repossession and seizure kind of thing, as long as the seizure and repossession is lawful, then you can't defend your property with any kind of force that you would if these people were not acting within the law. So if somebody's trying to steal your shit, in other words, you can, from what I can see, do whatever it takes to retain that property. But once again, it's all coming down to what is reasonable at the time. So I assume this would all depend, and from my research, it all depends on the person. Are you a small little female trying to take it from, trying to steal from a big man, or vice versa? So if you're trying to defend your property and you're 10 times the size of the person you assault to retain the property, that may not go well for you in court because of the impact factor of you being so, there being such a differential between the two of you. It would also depend on the person's skill set. If I'm a martial artist and I take somebody's head off who's trying to steal a can of Coke from my car, that seems unreasonable. Things like that. It does seem a bit endless when it comes to what a reasonable person would do and that kind of thing, because it seems to take in so many different factors. All the little sample cases that I've read on this, it really did depend on everything that surrounded the situation. It didn't seem like it was cut and dry. So in the end, I think, to make this long story long, context is everything. So what might be reasonable for one person may not be reasonable for another, but it will depend on the context at the time of the incident more than anything. So at what point can you strike a thief? When it's reasonable to do so. And as far as I can tell, that will depend on the situation, the moment, and everything leading up to it. And what was said. Did you try and verbally de-escalate? Or did you go straight to punches? All of these things will be a factor. Yeah, I think that's about it for that question. All right. Thanks.